always pushing the boundaries. Welcome back to another video. It's just going to be a quick one today. I think we've got about an hour whilst I do some supervising, make sure nobody gets up to too much mischief. Working in the greenhouse, I've got some things I want to get done in the shed. I don't know where I'm going to get to, but anyways, let's spend a little bit of time together in the garden. Much needed chill out time, as long as certain things behave themselves. So first up, look how well these peas and broad beans are looking. How green is that? Absolutely fantastic. Only damage I've got on the broad beans is on this one here, which is one of the supers, I think, which may be from a frost. So we've had a couple of sub-zero temperatures, but I think that should come well. I don't think that should affect it anything too much. Just keeping an eye on somebody outside. She's come for a drink by the look of it. Pineapple sage is starting to flower. This is an absolutely gorgeous red flower if it gets chance to. The one outside died off before it even got chance to flower this year, so I'm hoping that that'll come and then I can show everybody that. This is clary sage in here. Is that how you pronounce it? Which I'm hoping to be able to use doing more herby stuff next year. Red clover, just keeping that alive in the background, and also an elderberry tree that's not in a pot. And then over here, this is what I want to get working on today. So these are the brassicas that you guys have seen me grow on and take care of after all of my others got completely mullered by the caterpillars. So it's time for these, at least these big ones, to get planted. And I think what I'm going to do is get them in the greenhouse here. So I'm going to go and get a couple of barrows of muck and scatter that all around. It's really dry, as you can see, so anything that goes in, I'll make sure it gets a good water. At the back, Stephen has put those blueberry bushes that you saw him take out, so we'll work around those, or I can move them if needs be. Now in here as well, been making use of the contraption, the little propagator system that we put together, or that Stephen put together very kindly. Obviously these are the well, first of all, these are the overwintered tomatoes. These are the side shoots that I took off the Country Girl. Is it called Country Girl? I'm questioning myself. It's Country something. I'm thinking of Outdoor Girl tomatoes at the moment because I'm thinking about, well, what I'm going to be growing next year outside. That's why I said Country Girl, but it's what is it? I'll have to look and I'll put it on the screen if I can remember. Anyway, these are obviously yellowing. That's what I was going to say, because they're just essentially, you know, beyond their life now. So for some of these leaves, these ones need taking off as well. But what I'm going to do is take off these healthy side shoots, and I'm going to get those potted up, and we're going to keep life moving through the winter, hopefully by using those side shoots. And then these mother plants that have brought on these side shoots for the last month or the last few weeks, however long it might have been, they will then end up going into the compost. Hopefully the side shoots will keep us going through winter, and we'll have some nice early tomatoes next year. Country Taste. I knew I'd remember it as soon as I turned off the camera. Country Taste. So they are an F1 hybrid, which is why you guys have already seen, who've watched me for a little while. But if you're new here, the hybrids, we don't tend to keep the seeds from the tomatoes because they don't come true next year. So a way of doing that, according to Charles Dowding, is to take the side shoots and replant them, and every time a new side shoot comes from that new plant, keep taking that and replanting it on, and then hopefully next year you'll get some really early tomatoes, exactly the same as the F1s, because it's the same plant. Effectively, you're not growing it fresh from seed. So a little bit of work to get done in the greenhouse today. I'm going to go and get a barrow of muck. It's just me today, so Stephen is now busy working on a totally different project. Oh, and I'm just looking, the flipping horse is, she's eating one of the bushes that she's not supposed to be eating. It's obviously not poisonous, but I don't want her eating it. So after I've rescued that bush, I'll then go and get the manure. Madam, there's a blanket over that for a reason. Lydia! I want to kick off that big butt. That's there for a reason. So this is Forsythia, which the horses have ruined previously, doing exactly what she's just been doing. And I do try and keep it covered when they're out, just in a, this is a horse rug, but it is insisting on poking out. And wherever it's poking out, it's getting eaten. So I'm just trying to save you. Will you just stay underneath there, please? Goodness me, the things you have to do. Right, let's go and get some horse muck. I've put the barrow there. I'll meet you back in the greenhouse. I'm spending more time going and telling her to get off that than I'm getting any gardening done. Right, so this is literally, we're on the bottom dregs of the first manure pile now. I'm going to talk about that in a minute actually, because I'm quite excited to share something, well, to ask your opinion on something. But first up, let's get this spread. Don't worry about the colour, that's just where it's kind of more ashy. It's not warm or hot or anything like that, so everything should be absolutely fine. I'm going to dig it in a little bit and then we'll get some things planted. I've also got those other onions which are desperate to go in that I grew from seed. Right, I've dug the manure in and I've also just put 1 bag of compost on here. Tell you what, it doesn't go very far, does it? And the reason I've done that is I really want these beds to be as full of goodness as they can, especially for next year. So I will be topping it up with more manure and more compost, probably, depending on the price as we move into next year, into the spring. But this should be sufficient. I'm going to fill this bit up to here and that should be sufficient for what I'm trying to do today. Right, now I'm thinking what I'm going to do. I think this is Portuguese kale. I think this is another Portuguese kale. And then we've got the red Russian and the pretty obvious Tuscan, Nero de Toscana, whatever it's called, kale, the sort of standard kale. And then maybe a curly kale here, if that comes. And obviously all of these aren't going to fit in here, but I think what I'm going to do is put this here and then space them out all the way along and put my onions around them. I think that's probably going to work best for now. Naughty 1 and naughty 2 have gone back in. Guess they were starting to get up to no good. So I'll show you what I've got done. I'm a little bit pushed for time today. It's actually Remembrance Sunday today. Yesterday I was supposed to do some gardening, but we needed to work together on the projects that you saw and a few other things. So I said, right, I'm going to try and get in the garden today. It's good because at this time of the year, you know, I'm not in a position where, apart from what I've done today, I'm pushed for time in terms of has to get done or else it won't happen. So, you know, everything that I've got on in terms of tidying, you know, any structures that need taken down, any weeds that need picking, I've got leaves to turn into mulch, etc. All of that can be done over the next couple of months. It's not something that I have to get done this weekend, but I really wanted to get these done in this weekend because they've been looking at me saying, please plant me, for ages. And if it wasn't this weekend, realistically, it's not going to be until next weekend because by the time you finish work at the moment, it's dark. So this is what it's looking like at the minute. I've put 4 brassicas in each side. Now, these are different types of kale, so they're all kale, but they're all different varieties, these ones. So I'll be really interested to see how they get on. I'm going to water them in just a moment. I'll sweep all around, etc. But the onions that I've also put in, I did start with a bit of a method, and then I just kind of put them anywhere there was a gap. So there was method in my madness to start off with, and then I just filled in the gap. So we shall see how these come on together. I think what I'll do, the multi-sown, some of them have worked, some of them are more singles, as you can see. So I think what I'll do is as these start to grow, I'll just pick them off, and then, you know, obviously we'll eat them and leave the space for the others to grow as well. Hopefully this will work, but you know, unless I try it, I'm never going to know, am I? So we can see, and we might be doing this again next year, or we might say never going to do that again. So I'm going to water them all in. This has had a bag of compost, as I say, horse manure, and what else was in there. So it should be off to a flying start. Hopefully it is a little bit late in the year. I could have got these in earlier, but well, I didn't. So let's see how they turn out. I'll keep you posted on the future videos. And on this side, I haven't put any muck in here just yet, because I thought, look, get them in. They can start getting the feet down and they can start being happy. So we've got 2 of the same variety there and 2 different varieties. So there's 2 Neros. I think that's the Portuguese and I think that's the red Russian. But I can add the muck around them. So I haven't put the onions in this side just yet because obviously I won't be able to add the muck then. But I thought at least let's get them in and they can start growing. So the other thing that I really want to show you today, which is why it's just a quick video, I thought get that done and then I can show you the updates of the greenhouse, just how the broad beans are doing, the peas, the propagator's coming on fantastically, looking after those tomatoes, and there's a couple of other things outside. I want to give you an update on the garlic and the onions that we got planted, because otherwise it's going to be another week before I even can update you on that as well. Now I think I showed you the where we got to with this, so we are still eating from this patch here. I haven't taken out the carrot that went to seed, but everything is looking really well. In fact, there's one thing that I was surprised about that I'm going to share with you. Here it is. Can you see? I've never grown a successful swede before, but look at this. That's looking really good. I mean, that's tiny. Even if I get one, it's one better than I've had in the past. Anyway, Did you see the previous video? This is where Stephen got to for clearing this spot for the polytunnel that's not going to be a polytunnel. Oh, what a nightmare we've had thinking about this. I'll chat through with you on a different video, but I think you might be able to guess what I've got planned for this area if the polytunnel doesn't come off. Anyway, let's go and see the garlic. Look how well these are doing. Do you remember when we put these in? Can you see? I think pretty much all of them are coming up except these ones here, the Albi, whatever it's called. Not a single one of those have germinated. Did I actually sow any? I must have done. And the onions, they're coming up well. They were from sets. And also in this bed here, these were the onions that I planted a little later. This net is just for the cats and the pigeons, the birds, etc. So I'm really, really chuffed with everything, but especially this garlic. Right, I've just checked because I was asking myself, did I even plant these? And I did, look. So that is coming, it's just a lot slower. So let's put it back in than the rest. So that's a good thing to note. Right, thank goodness for that. Won't get very many vegetables if I forget to plant them, will I? So as I was saying, lots to get done out here, but there is no time constraints to get it done. Well, by spring, obviously. There's lots to tidy up, you know, get away, get the autumnal greenery put away that's kind of dying back. The rhubarb needs mulching. You know, I'm going to chop the asparagus down now that that's kind of died back as well. Stephen's working out here a lot with me because obviously of this area, so there's no rush, but we've got the weekends to get that done. The only problem is the weather. Obviously, as we move into the winter, the weather's against us in terms of we will quite happily work in most weather conditions except the lashing rain and wind. Who wants to do that, right? So we'll see. Anyway, that's all I wanted to catch you up on today. I'm really pleased to sort of be out and be able to crack on. Let's see what this next week brings. And as I say, please do let me know your thoughts on that area. At the end of the day, I've got so many winter squash and beans to get in. That's what I'm thinking. Right, I'm going to have to disappear, get finished in here, and I'll talk to you very soon. Thank you for joining me for this super quick video. I hope everybody's well. I will be back with another video as soon as I can.